Hello dear students. So RPS group of school once again welcome you to the learning of reasoning for the classes 6th, 7th and 8th, and yes, it's there is no need to say the things. I am your reasoning teacher Mr. Chitresh Shangwan. So there is nothing to new about it, but yes. And yes, children, it's called reasoning. I have been dealing with the reasoning only, and you have been doing. And I think we have already have had so many videos and assignments on that. So by this time, you must have got a very good and solid foundation and understanding for the chapter for the topic reasoning. So yes, as you have in before you the things on display, it's going to be on number, ranking, and time, and sequence test questions. So, and I would like to add one more thing that the previous video of ours we have done whatever, so it is in continuation with that. So it's in continuation of the previous we have done, and you have already done that and seen that. So it's also going to be a kind of like that. So see before you we have on a display, it's called the number test. So let us see and understand what is this number test. So it says in this type of questions, generally a set, group or series of numerals is given, and the candidate is asked to trace out numerals following certain given conditions or lying at specific mentioned positions after shuffling according to a certain given pattern. Okay children, let me tell you that what we are going to find in this chapter. So in this chapter we deal with questions which are followed by a sequence consisting numbers, ranking and time. We have to find answers on the basis of given conditions. The importance of such types of questions cannot be overemphasized, as their presence in a test of reasoning is almost certain, though no explanations are required as how to attempt these questions in exams. In this chapter, generally, we will deal three types of questions. They are based on, so of the three types, the number one is type 1 number test. In these types of questions, a number, a set of numbers, series of digit is given, and the candidate is asked to trace out digit following certain given conditions. So let us see, we have an example. So example 1 is, how many 5s are there in the following number sequence which are immediately preceded by 7 and immediately followed by 6? So children, I wanted you to solve it yours by yours only, and I think you must have done it. So let us see the solution for this. So the question was that question you have already understood. So we need to find how many 5 was there, and 5 is preceded by 7 and followed by 6. So let us see. We see 5 and 5 is not there. So yes, we are coming towards in one we can find only, and here we see 5 is in middle and it's preceded by 7 and followed by 6, right? So there we can see in the entire series we have only one such example. So of course the answer is going to be 1, and A is the right answer. Hello dear students, here we have another example, example number 2. The question says, how many even numbers are there in the following series of numbers, each of which is immediately preceded by an odd number but not immediately followed by an even number. So you understand all these things, so I just giving you a minute of time, you do it, and then again we will get back and we will try to solve it. So children, the question was very easy. The question was, we had to find how many even numbers are there which are preceded by odd number and which are not followed by even numbers. So let us see if we come to this. So yes, here we see one example 6. 6 is an even number, it is preceded by odd number and it's not followed by even number, which is 3. That means it is one answer. Again we next, yes, again we find 2. 2 is an even number, it is preceded by an odd number, and then again it is not followed by an even number. And again after that we find 8. 8 is again a even number, and it's preceded by odd number and it is not followed by even number. So here we have C, 3 such even numbers are there, that is 2, 6 and 8, and answer is D. So D is the right answer. So children, here we have another example, example number 3. Let us see what the question is asking. Question is, if the positions of the first and the third digit within each number are interchanged, which of the following will be the third digit of the second lowest number? So read the question, understand it, try to solve it yourself, and again I'm getting back in 1 minute. So children, here we have another beautiful example. So let us see the question, what the question is asking. It is, if the positions of the first and the third digit within each number are interchanged, which of the following will be the third digit of the second lowest number? So let us see, we are just going to interchange the first and third digit. So in the first number, which is given 519, so if we interchange in first and third, so it becomes 915. So again, second number is 364. If we interchange the first and third number, then it becomes 463. Similarly, 287, when interchange first and third number, it becomes 782. Next we have 158, when interchange first and third digit, it becomes 851. And finally it is, we have 835, and when first and third digit number is interchanged, it becomes 538. So from here, from this example, from here we have done, we can see, so the second lowest number is 538, and hence the third digit for the second lowest number is 5. So 5 is the answer. So children, here I would like to add one more thing, that the second lowest number is 538, and this number we got after doing exchange of first and third, and the previous number was 835, and so here the third digit is 5. So this is the answer. So hence third digit of the second lowest number is 5. Hello children, so we have here another beautiful example. The question says, which of the following is the difference between the second digit of the lowest and the highest of these numbers? So here we have number 519, 364, 287, 158 and 835. 35. So let us see which is the lowest number. So lowest we have here 158, and the highest is 835, and the second digit of the lowest is 5, and the second digit of the highest is 3, and so the difference of 5 and 3 is 2. So that is the answer. So I have gone through directly without giving any chance of doing it, because I thought it's very simple and even you can do it very easily. Understood children, the entire process? Okay. So children, here we have another beautiful example. The question says, the position of how many digits in the number 351462987 will remain unchanged after the digits are rearranged in ascending order within the number? Let us solve this example. See, first just we need to write the numbers as it is given. So how it is given the number? So number is given. So original number we have to write the way it's given in the question. So it is 351462987, and ascending order we know in increasing order. So if when we arrange the same series in ascending order, we find first 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here you see we have tried to show you that there are two numbers in the series. Even in the original number, the position of 8 and 4 and 8 remains the same even when we arrange it in the ascending order. So here the position of 4 and 8 are not going to change. So it was the question that how many such number digits are there. So obviously there are such two digits. So of course the answer is C. So here in solution we can say for your easy understanding, here 4 and 8 digit remains unchanged even after doing the rearrangement. So that's the answer. C is the answer. Okay children, congratulations that you have very successfully understood the part 1. So we are moving for the part 2, and it's called the time and sequence. So children, let us understand what is this time sequence. So for introduction we need to understand the introduction part. So let us see what does it say. It says this is a chapter upon time calculation. By this it does not mean that we have to calculate hours and minutes. Rather we have to go back some weeks or maybe some months and years back to estimate the exact day of some particular event. This may sound weird at first, but once you will go through fundamentals and some examples, you will find this chapter is to be very easy. So before going to examples, let's know some fundamental details. Those are necessary to understand beforehand. So children, there are some very basics understanding and questions that all of you already know. There is nothing for me to tell you, but still, since the whenever you start something, even if you already know, so still we need to repeat the things. That is how we need to do it. So let us see, some of the terms are there, you already know it. So, but still I'm going to say once for you, that 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute, 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour, 24 hours is equal to 1 day, in 1 week there are 7 days, in 1 month there are 4 weeks, 31 days is equal to 1 month, in 1 year there are 12 months, in 365 days is equal to 1 ordinary year. What do you mean by ordinary year? Generally see children, whenever a question is asked that how many days are there in a year, so the answer comes in our mind, we always say 365. So that's why it's called ordinary. But then there is a very special year, that's called leap year, and in that leap year there are 366 days, and that comes after every 4 year, and that only happens because in one year the exact number of days, if you want to find, it is 365, 1 upon 4, and 100 years is equal to 1 century. You know that century always means 100, because even when you play cricket and when you score a century, that means you have done 100 runs. So children, let us have some basic understanding which you already know, that how does this day and nights keep on happening, and the change of the season and years. It's all because of the two types of the motion that Earth has got. One is rotation and the other is revolution. And the Earth rotates on its axis, and because of its rotation, we have day and night, and the revolution, that the Earth revolves in the orbit, and that's all around the sun. So that's bring the change in the season, and that's one complete rotation means that one complete year. So all these things, even in geography you must have studied. So let us once again discuss all these things. So just here it says, we have already heard about these, but it's time to recollect them. You must also recollect following things and should keep in mind. To revolve complete around its axis, Earth takes 1 day. Total time that Earth takes to make a complete revolution around the Sun is known as solar month, and is equal to 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 471 by 2 seconds. Similarly, total time taken by Moon to revolve around Earth completely is known as lunar month, and it is nearly equal to 28 days. Each day is supposed to begin at midnight. So children, here we are going to see the number of different number of months we have in a year, and how many days each month has. So the table below describes the common thing that we all of us know, but it is important in this content to be discussed. Months: January has 31 days, February has 28, and 29 in case of leap year, and in ordinary year we have 28 days. March 31, April 30, May 31, June 30, July 31, August 31, September 30, October 31, November 30, and December 31 days. So let us see what is the difference, and what is called a leap year and what is called a normal year. I have already discussed, you already know it. For once again, let us see. Leap year: those years which are completely divisible by 4 are known as leap years, and they contain normally 366 days. Thus years like 2000, 2016, and 1996 are leap years, whereas 1997, 2001, and 2003 are not. They are not leap year, because if you divide by 4, they will not be completely divisible by 4. Now let us understand what are normal year. Those years which are not completely divisible by 4 are known as normal years, and they contain normally 365 days. Thus year like 2001, 2015, 1995 are normal years. So children, here I want to add and bring to your knowledge one more information, that all these years we have discussed, these are these years, but then again they are, century years, like 1600, 1700, 1800, 1900, 2000. These are century years. And even we have to know that whether the century year is a normal century year, or a leap century year. So to know whether the century year is a normal century year or leap century year, we need to know that the century year given is a leap century year. We will divide by 400, and if it gets completely divisible, it's getting completely divided by 4 without remaining any remainder, so that century year will be century leap year. Otherwise it will all be century normal year. Is that clear? So dear students, here we have a beautiful question. Let us see. Suppose, take an example, today is Friday. What will be the day after 91 days? So this is a very simple questions. And now children, we know that in a week there are 7 days. So first thing, to understand this, you need to calculate that in 91 days how many weeks are there. So to know the total number of weeks in 91 days, we are going to divide it by 7, and then we get 13. That means there are 13 weeks. 13 weeks is equal to 91 days, and we know that after every 7 days the same day is repeated. So we have already calculated that in 91 days there are 13 weeks, and when we multiply 13 by 7 we get 91. So that means after 13 weeks we are going to have the same 13 weeks, we are going to have the 91 days we will be crossing. And if the today is Friday, so it's going to be the another Friday. So obviously the answer is going to be C. So the answer is C. So children, here we have another questions on the similar pattern. The question is, today is Saturday. What will be the day after 59 days? So the same question, same method and technique we can apply into that. So we will because we know that in a week there are 7 days, so we are going to divide it by 7. So on dividing by 7 we will get we will get 8, and 3 will be left. 56 we are coming for the days, and 3 will be left, 3 days will be left. So till 56 days it will be repeating on Saturday only, and there is a difference of 3 days between 56 and 59. So we need to count 3 further days move on Saturday. So after Saturday, counting 3 more days, so Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. So we are reaching up to Tuesday. So Tuesday is the right answer. In explanation, same thing is given. Each day comes after 7 days. So 7 8 is equal to 56 days. On 56th day it will be Saturday because it's repeating the same week. Hence on 59th it will be 3 days. We have counted 3 additional days starting from Saturday. So here we got the answer Tuesday. So Tuesday and option B is the right answer. So dear students, here we have another questions. A very beautiful question. It says, if the day before yesterday was Saturday, then find out the day after tomorrow. So tomorrow we always talk that yet to come. Yesterday we always talk that always past. So there is also a day which is called day before yesterday, and which is also a day which is called day after tomorrow. So all this thing you understand. Let's see the explanation. Day before yesterday is Saturday means yesterday is Sunday. That's why it was day before yesterday was Saturday, and today is Monday. So tomorrow will be Tuesday, and obviously the day after tomorrow will be Wednesday. So that's very simple. Wednesday is the answer, and B option is the right answer. So dear students, here we have another beautiful question. The question says, if Sarla's birthday falls on 12th of March and Sita's birthday falls on 30th of the same month, you need to notice it here, it's the same month. And it's further saying, if Sarla's birthday will fall on Tuesday, then on what day will be Sita's birthday? So that's a very simple question. Let's see, let's talk about the date. So Sarla's birthday is on 12th of March and Sita's birthday is on 30th of March on the same day. That means let us find the difference of the dates. So the 30th, it's 12, and 30th, if we subtract we get 18. And when we divide days we get 2 weeks and 4 days are extra left. So that means if Sarla's birthday it's on Tuesday, so we need to, because 4 days are extra left, we need to move 4 days further from starting from Tuesday. So first day that comes after Tuesday is Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday. Fourth day is coming on Saturday. That means Sarla's birthday is on Saturday, and is the answer is C. Is that clear, children? See, but by mistake I said the name Sarla. It's a Sita's, because Sarla's birthday was already given. So is there any confusion? Shall I repeat it once again? See, let us see once again. So the question says Sarla's birthday is on 12th of March and Sita's is on 30th of March on the same month. And if Sarla's birthday is on Tuesday, on what day Sita's birthday? That we need to find. So the difference of the dates is given 30th and 12. When we subtract, if we get 18, that means 2 complete weeks and 4 days extra. So that means the Sarla's birthday is on Tuesday. So from Tuesday we need to count 4 days ahead, and that day will be the Sita's birthday. So that Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday. So Saturday is the birthday of Sita's birthday. That was the question, and that's the answer. So option C is the answer. So children, again we have a beautiful question. The question says today is Sham's birthday, which falls on Wednesday, and Hari's birthday falls after 50 days after him. So on which day will Hari's birthday fall? That's very simple. See, we after how many days? 50 days. So in 50 days we get 7 weeks, and 7 weeks, that means 49 days is coming, taking the form into 7 weeks, and 1 day will be left. So even after 7 weeks, moving from first week, second week, third week, fourth week, we will come up to on the same day. That's the day will be same, that's Wednesday. And since 1 day is left, we need to see the next day. So the next day which comes after Wednesday is Thursday. That means Hari's birthday will be on Thursday, and Thursday is the right answer. B is the option. So dear students, here we have another beautiful example, and the question says today's history exam which falls on Monday, the next history exam will take place after a fortnight. On which day the next history exam will take place? So here we all know that in a fortnight is equal to 2 weeks, that means 14 days, and that means the 2 weeks we have. So Monday it is there, another 1 week will be Monday, next Monday, and another next Monday will be fortnight. And it's clearly stated in the question that it will take after fortnight. That means 1 day we need to add, and that's why on adding 1 day, the day will come Tuesday. So Tuesday is the right answer, and B is the option. So yes children, till now whatever we have studied, these all examples and discussions were on time sequence, and based on this some more examples you can see, and always you can try from your books. So this was all done from my side. It's all time sequence, and this all done, and for your more satisfaction and for your more clarification on the topic, some examples you can obviously try from your side. So dear students, now we have moved on. Now it's part third, and this part third is all about logical sequence of words. So here we are all going to see and discuss, understand, and questions based on logical sequence of words. So let us understand and let us describe this topic. So in the description we have this note with us. It says logical sequence of words is all about consistent arrangement, which is the important course of action of words as per the characteristics, laws, and all around acknowledged ideas. Certain between related words are given and numbered, followed by different groupings of the numbers, meaning them as options. The competitor is required to mastermind these words in a logical arrangement in light of a typical property, and after that pick the accurately reviewed succession from the given options. So children, let us understand the concept. So the concept says logical sequence of words can be discussed by following four sequences. They are: number one, sequence of occurrence of events or various stages in a process. Number two, sequence of objects in a class or group from part to the whole. Point number third, sequence of increasing or decreasing size, value, intensity, etc. Point number four, sequence order of words according to dictionary. Dear students, here we have a very simple question, and it all depends on understanding when finally a things gets published in newspaper. So what are the steps involved into that, which comes first and what followed next, that all you need to understand. So based on this beautiful question is given. So the question says, arrange the given words in a meaningful sentence. The words are composing, writing, reading and printing. So in that order, what do you think, what should come first? So in all these things, see, we have options: composing, writing, reading and printing. So of course, first of all, there comes writing. First of all, writing, you need to write. When we write, first of all we write, and after that we compose it, and then we print it, and finally after printing what we get it, we read it. So this is going to be the sequence: writing, composing, printing and reading. So let's see, this is in which number order. So it's going to be B, A, D and C. So that's the right answer, that's the right sequence. So dear students, here we have a beautiful question: arrange the following in a logical order from particular to general. And see, this all we have a very basics understanding. We need to move on from particular to general. Suppose if we talk about the human body, the composition. So the first is, the smallest unit is the cell. From cell we goes on to tissues, then organ, and then organ system, and then we get a human body. If we talk about the time, first we have seconds, then we move for the minutes, and then we move for the hour, then we move for the day, and then week, and then month, and then year. Understood what is called moving from particular to general? So yes. So now the question is, arrange the following in a logical order from particular to general. The words are Uttar Pradesh, it's a name of a state. Universe, universe, our solar system, and these all planets and 100,000 of the stars are a part of universe. We have Lucknow. Lucknow is a name of a city, and the world is, entire world. This earth is a planet. Into that we can consider, and India is of course a country. So I think by all these things must be very clear to you, right? We have Uttar Pradesh, universe, Lucknow, world and India. So how can you arrange the things from particular to general? So obviously, first of all, Lucknow comes. Lucknow is a city which is situated in Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh is in India. India is a part of the world, and world is a part of universe. So the correct sequence, part to whole, is starting Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, India, world, universe. So that's the right answer. So here we have another beautiful example. It says, arrange the following words in a logical sequence from small to big. The words are given: gold, iron, sand, platinum, diamond. So you need to see that given words are, what are the given words? Given words are iron, gold, iron, sand, platinum, diamond. All the given words represent substances. These are substances you study in science, which can be arranged in expanding request of their expense. The minimum expensive, we are just calculating it in the terms of expensive, which is going to be most valuable and least valuable, whose prices are going to be maximum. So the maximum expensive, the minimum expensive, let us start from minimum expensive. It's sand. Sand, nobody gives any value, it's all around us. So the minimum expensive is sand, after which comes the expense. After that, in order, if we move from sand, then comes iron. Yes, iron is expensive, more expensive than sand, but not, it's not as expensive as gold. So first sand, then iron, then we are moving to gold, And since jewelries are made of gold, so there goes making charge. So that's why jewelry is going to be more expensive than gold. And then there come the costliest among all, which is platinum. And here in that order we missed the diamond, whatever, but you know that first we are talking about sand, and then iron, and then gold, and then of course diamond, and then platinum. And right, so that's the order. So dear students, here we have another beautiful example. It is, we have to arrange the following words according to English dictionary. The words are frog, eagle, grasshopper, snake, grass. And so here we have to move on in dictionary order, as all you see that order of the alphabet. So given words are frog, eagle, grasshopper, snake and grass. So according to English dictionary, eagle comes first, followed by frog, which is in turn followed by grass, followed by grasshopper, and the last will be snake. So the correct sequential order of words is eagle, frog, grass, grasshopper and snake. That was very simple. So dear students, here we are going to check your knowledge of language, that how much of good language you have, understanding you have for the English language or the Hindi language. So the question says arrange the following words in a logical sequence. Here we have letter, here we have phrase, sentence and words. So we need to arrange them. So given words are letter, you know that A, B, C, D, E, F, these are letters. So in English alphabet there are 26 letters that you know. Phrase, you know, phrase is a group of words, but its length is going to be shorter than the sentence, because a phrase never has any verb. A sentence, you know, in grammar you define a sentence. Sentence is a group of words that makes complete sense, whereas phrase is also a group of words, but that doesn't make a complete sense. And word, you know, word is like boy, B-O-Y. Boy is a word which is made up of 3 letters. So that's very simple for you to do it. So a group of letters makes a word, a group of words makes a phrase, a group of phrases makes a sentences. So therefore the orders are, correct order is letter and then word and phrase and sentence. So yes children, so we have done, we have successfully done, and I can understand, I can visualize the smile on your face, that while solving today's this particular slides you must be smiling, because it was really simple and all my dear students are very smart. So all discussions, questions we have discussed, you can see it, you can revise it, you can do it, you can pause it, you can rewind it, and you can also solve some more examples taking from your textbook. Is that clear? And even after that, if you need to do some discussion, so of course you are most welcome to call your reasoning teacher, and I must not tell you my name, you know it. God bless you. Thank you and God bless you.